Deep in the dense wilderness of West Virginia, where the mists roll over ancient trees and the valleys echo with unsettling cries, lies a secret that has haunted hunters for generations. The Tagart Valley, long considered forbidden by locals, has once again drawn the attention of the Mountain Monsters team. But this time, what they find pushes even their hardened nerves to the limit. It isn't just footprints or a fleeting shadow in the dark. It's a colossal nest. A giant Bigfoot nest, hidden in the heart of the valley, large enough to house a creature unlike anything the team has encountered before. The call of Tagart Valley has always been a name whispered with fear and reverence among Appalachian locals. Rumors stretch back centuries, stories of hunters who vanished, their camps left untouched, fires still burning. Farmers spoke of distant howls that shook their windows at night, and massive trees stripped bare of bark, as though something enormous had climbed them. For years, the Mountain Monsters crew, Trapper, Huckleberry, Jeff, Willie, Buck, and Wild Bill, had been gathering evidence across the region. But Tagart Valley was different. Every lead seemed to circle back to it. Strange tracks were found leading toward its dense interior, and even seasoned trackers refused to go near. When motion trigger cameras in the area caught glimpses of a massive, shadowy figure moving with inhuman speed, the team knew this was their next mission. The journey into the unknown. Their arrival was marked by a chilling silence, not the peaceful quiet of nature, but an absence of birdsong, of insect hum, an eerie stillness that suggested something powerful was watching. The valley floor was covered in deep moss, the air thick with moisture and decay. The deeper they went, the more unnatural it felt. Willie and Wild Bill took the lead, setting up trail cameras and looking for signs of disturbance. It didn't take long. A grove of massive oaks showed deep claw marks, 5 vertical gouges running more than 8 feet high. No bear could have made them. Something taller, something stronger had marked its territory. Buck noticed the ground beneath one tree was pressed down, almost circular, with broken branches woven in a rough spiral pattern. "It looks like a bed," Jeff muttered as he studied the soil's compression. The team followed the trail deeper until they reached an enormous structure unlike anything they had seen before. The nest revealed in a clearing partially obscured by fallen timber and vines stood the nest. A massive dome-shaped structure, built from thick logs, moss, and bark, easily 20 feet across and 10 feet high. It wasn't random. It was constructed with intention. Branches were interlaced like a bird's nest, forming a protective shell. Inside, layers of leaves and fur were arranged in a circular pattern. The sheer scale left the crew speechless. The smell was overpowering. A mix of wet fur, decay, and something musky, primal. Jeff immediately began collecting samples while Huckleberry secured the perimeter. Willie pointed out something disturbing. Several animal bones half buried near the entrance. Deer femurs, raccoon skulls, even remnants of a black bear. The nest wasn't just shelter. It was part of a feeding ground. Using ultraviolet lights, Buck noticed streaks of fluid on the interior walls, glowing faintly blue. Biological residue. Whatever lived here, it was intelligent enough to maintain this place as a den. Signs of a famine, but what truly unsettled them wasn't the size, it was the number of impressions in the soil. Multiple sets of large tracks surrounded the nest, some enormous, others smaller. Could this be evidence of a Bigfoot family living within Tagart Valley? Jeff compared the footprints to previous casts from other hunts. This species was larger than anything they documented. The primary prints measured nearly 22 inches long, far surpassing the grassman or midnight whistler varieties they had encountered before. The team theorized This might be a new Appalachian subspecies, one that had adapted to the deep valley's isolation. Night fell quickly, and the forest seemed to close in. Huckleberry insisted they set up camp nearby despite the team's unease. As darkness deepened, the forest came alive, not with the usual nocturnal sounds, but with low, rhythmic thumps. Trees groaned, and heavy footfalls echoed through the ravine. Something was moving around them, something massive. The midnight encounter near midnight. A distant roar shook the valley. Cameras captured two glowing eyes moving across the ridgeline, reflecting an unnatural amber light. Wild Bill swung his flashlight, catching a fleeting glimpse, a massive silhouette, upright, disappearing behind the trees. The sheer width of the shoulders, the way it moved, fluid, purposeful, sent chills through everyone. Moments later, a tree crashed nearby. The crew scattered, searching for the source. Jeff's thermal imaging device picked up heat signatures, 3 distinct figures circling their position. The readings suggested at least one stood over 9 feet tall. Then came the smell, the same musky odor from the nest. The creature was close, too close. The forest went silent again before a deep growl reverberated through the clearing. Huckleberry's instincts kicked in. He ordered everyone to retreat to the ATV. The growl followed them, echoing off the valley walls, until they were out of range. Forensic evidence and discovery the next morning, they returned cautiously. The nest was still there, but something had changed. Branches had been rearranged. Fresh mud covered some of the prints. It was clear. The creature had been there during the night, watching them, possibly warning them. Jeff sent samples to a wildlife genetics lab for analysis. The results were astounding. The hair samples didn't match any known species. The DNA sequences contained both primate and unidentified markers, close to human but genetically distinct. It was the strongest biological evidence they had ever recovered. The structure itself was studied by a team of anthropologists. They confirmed it was too complex to be the work of random animals. The interwoven construction required opposable thumbs and remarkable dexterity. The presence of bedding material also suggested deliberate comfort, behavior far beyond any known ape species in North America. Legends and theories to discovery reignited old Appalachian folklore. Native tribes once spoke of the Sasquatch of the valley, guardians of sacred ground who lived among the mist and protected the forests from intruders. Some legends describe them as ancient beings who predict humanity, connected to the spirit of the land. Locals believed Tagart Valley was cursed after early settlers desecrated tribal burial mounds there. Since then, strange lights have been reported, and the forest seems to resist human intrusion. The Mountain Monsters team began to wonder, were they trespassing on something ancient, something that wasn't meant to be found? Buck theorized the nest was part of a migration route, one of many across Appalachia. Each region's Bigfoot sightings might be connected by hidden corridors of wilderness stretching from Georgia to Maine. The Tagart Valley nest, he suggested, could be the central hub, a breeding ground for the species. The valley's secret enigmas, the team continued exploring. Jeff noticed strange electromagnetic fluctuations in the valley. Compasses spun wildly, and cameras malfunctioned near certain rock formations. Could the creatures be drawn to this energy? Or worse, could it be a form of protection, a natural shield keeping humans out? Wild Bill recalled stories of miners from the 1800s who found similar disturbances before vanishing without trace. Could these Bigfoot creatures be harnessing the valley's magnetic properties to remain undetectable, interfering with technology the same way Skinwalker Ranch anomalies do out west? Whatever the case, the Mountain Monsters team realized this was more than just a hunt. It was a step into a living mystery that blurred the lines between science, folklore, and survival. The unsettling finale before leaving the valley. The crew revisited the nest one last time. It was destroyed. Logs were torn apart, bedding shredded, and the entire structure flattened as though in a rage. Massive footprints led away into the woods, vanishing at the edge of the creek. The destruction seemed deliberate, a message. The creatures had returned and reclaimed their ground. The team gathered what little remained, samples, photos, and footage, and retreated before nightfall. As they drove away, Buck looked back through the fog. A tall figure stood motionless on the ridge, watching. No sound, no movement, just silent observation. The legend of Bigfoot was alive, and the heart of Tagart Valley pulsed with its presence. Legacy of the Discovery the Mountain Monsters investigation aired on Discovery Channel, igniting global fascination. Skeptics dismissed it as clever editing, but experts couldn't ignore the evidence. The DNA anomaly, the size of the nest, the thermal footage. For the first time, something tangible backed up generations of myths. Scientists began to reconsider what they thought they knew about North America's wilderness. If a creature like this could evade detection for centuries, what else could be hiding in the untouched corners of the Appalachian wilds? The team vowed to return, more carefully, more prepared, but also with respect. Tagart Valley wasn't just a hunting ground. It was a living reminder that some mysteries aren't meant to be conquered, only understood.